Theatre is a vital and timeless art form that holds immense importance in our society. It serves as a powerful medium for communication, reflection, and cultural expression. Apart from mirroring human experiences, it allows us to explore and understand the complexities of life, of emotions, and relationships through storytelling and performances. It provides a platform for both artists and the audiences to connect with profound and universal aspects of being a human. That being said, we need to ensure that theatre not only survives but thrives. And doing exactly that is Beaumont Community Players. Let's listen to Julia Rodriguez. She's a social media and public relations manager at Beaumont Community Players. Welcome to the podcast, Julia.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
I'm assuming this wasn't smooth sailing all along. Everywhere around the world, art is always facing some kind of challenges, right? So, could you help us with who felt the need to start this and how did this organization progress till date?
Absolutely. So we are actually going to celebrate our 100th season next year in 2024, 2025. So this organization has been,
Awesome.
yeah, so it's been around for a long time, and it started, just like many nonprofit organizations, especially many art organizations in someone's living room, shortly
Mhm.
um after the first World War, um and people who just wanted to come together and entertain themselves and their friends and talk about storytelling and music and things that were not as interesting to most of society in Southeast Texas in the 20s. And so the group has been going strong since then, only taking a break in 1942 to 43 for obvious reasons.
Yes.
But it has, the volunteers over the years and the people who care about arts over the years. They went from in living rooms to in a schoolhouse, in like a one-room schoolhouse, to old fairgrounds, to having a partnership with this to our city to do something in their historic theater. To in 2008 being able to purchase and refurbish a theater where we are now.
Wonderful. And when you say old, how old is this? Obviously before the World War, but could you give us a date?
For the organization.
Yes.
Oh, I believe it was started in like 1924.
Oh, that's a long way off. And obviously, the kind of performances, the kind of productions, everything must have changed, right? The culture, the influences. Uh, so, how did this evolve? Was there a team that decided that okay, this is what we need to include, this is what we need to do, these are the activities that involves the entire community? Could you tell us the process of evolution, if I may use the word?
Yeah, absolutely. So for a very, very long time, it was kind of by committee. Anybody who was willing to volunteer had a say in some of those decisions,
Hmm.
and that kept the organization going for so long because people, were tapped in, to the community and able to do shows and messages that spoke to the community. But around the
Right.
time of just um, evolution and things change, and we know from data across the industry, across the production theatrical arts industry, that the demographic tends to be a little older. And so
Hmm.
around the mid 2000s recession, um, there had to be a change because the musicals and scripts and things that
Mm-hmm.
the volunteers wanted to do was not necessarily what the community wanted to see.
Mm-hmm.
And they recognized that, and they
Mm-hmm.
cared so much about the theater that they said, you know what, maybe we need a little help. And in 2017, they hired an executive director for the first time, John
Mm-hmm.
Manfredi, and who has over 40 years of professional theatrical and film experience. And so he's come in and he's really helped a lot with that programming, finding the mix between classics that people are familiar with and new productions that
Contemporary.
challenge the audience. Hmm.
Right. So, when you talk about the demographics, getting the younger generation into the arts, is that a challenge, or it was a challenge and it no longer is a challenge today?
Oh, it is a constant challenge. And it's
Okay.
not because younger people, and I'm think younger as in 50 and below. It's not that younger
Mm-hmm.
people and don't care about the arts. It's just art is so accessible in a way that it was not, with the internet and trying
Right.
to
Right.
trying to show people that it's a completely different experience, and to see a live performance. It's, you can listen to your favorite song on Spotify, but when you go to a Taylor Swift concert, it's completely different. It's the energy in the room and seeing someone on stage and everybody around you, it's totally different. That's why, people spent so much money on those tickets. And live theater
Yes,
is really,
absolutely. Yes.
and live theater is no different than a rock concert. It's a totally different vibe, and it can, really lift you up in a way that a good movie on Netflix, can touch you, but live theater is totally different. And showing people that experience, um and showing them that it is something accessible to them and something that will enrich their lives is, I don't want to say a constant challenge, but it's one that we're always looking for, trying to solve, trying to get people in the doors. Because once they come, they're gonna,
Then they
they
are
love it.
hooked.
They're
Yeah.
gonna keep coming back. Yeah.
Yes. I totally understand it. Uh, so, from the artist's point of view or from the production point of view, what is it that artists look forward to? Obviously, greater audiences, bigger reach. So when Beaumont community players started off, obviously started off within the community. So today, also, do you cater to that community, or is it expanding into the areas closer?
Yeah, so we have reached out beyond the immediate city of Beaumont, and we get audiences from, about a 30 to 45 mile radius consistently.
Oh, that's,
But
yeah, that's lovely.
yeah, and but more and more. So our city is right between, the border of Louisiana and Houston. So we're about
Mm-hmm.
2 hours away from Houston, about 4 hours away from New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
And so more and more, we've been getting more people coming from Houston. We had someone. We had two or three families come from Austin, which is about a 5 hour drive, to come
Yeah.
see some of our programming. So we are expanding beyond the area that we are, but just like what might work in New York or California is going to be different than what works in Texas. and
True.
and our audiences, they they like they think they like familiar musicals, but really what our audience is like is like slice of life family stories that they are reflected, that they
Mm-hmm.
can see themselves in. That's what our audiences really enjoy. They love comedy, but they love drama. And so show and people want to see, or sorry, I already said that, but they want to see themselves reflected.
I wish I knew you were around that time. last year because I was in Austin and I would have definitely driven down 5 hours to watch a play live. Lovely place. So, Julia, tell us about the way you obviously need collaborations with local artists, performers, or maybe cultural institutions uh, for the venue. Do you have a venue of your own?
Hmm. Yes, we the group in 2008 was able to purchase an old movie theater and refurbish it into a theater. So we do
Oh,
have our own
lovely.
space, which is great. But we do work with lots of various groups. We work really closely with a an ASL interpreting company locally that's called Cross Communication, and
Hmm.
we provide interpreting services for every for one performance of every show. It's usually our matinee. And because we
Okay.
have a very large deaf community in the area, because there used to be a prominent school in this
Hmm.
area. And so there's a large community of people that have been excluded for a really long time. And we're so glad that we're able to um, include that community. We also have a good relationship with our local PFLAG organization, and we host their Pride every June.
Hmm.
And we work with local businesses for to trade, like like we'll give y'all give us some food for opening night or for the
Right.
cast, and we'll
Yeah.
put ads out and things like that. So we do things like that. And we also started every February we go to our local high schools with
Hmm.
a live show for Black History Month. Last year we did The Mountaintop, which was about um, a fictional like imagining of Martin Luther King Jr.'s last
Hmm.
night.
Hmm.
And then this year we're doing Beehive, which is a little more fun, and it's about the music of the '60s and kind of the the politics that Black women had to go through.
Right.
So and getting into the schools, and that partnership is so fun. And the eighth graders this year are coming to see Christmas Carol, and so we're a little we're everywhere, a little bit of everywhere.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's lovely. When you get into collaborations like schools and educational institutes, I'm sure you are influencing their thought process and creating a society that is a thinking society, right? Art tends to do that, doesn't it? It tends to um, make you think, and that is so important today. Let's take a break to understand what Chizuba is. Everyone at some point ponders on how this beautiful life can be made more meaningful. Maybe you're a leader trying to enhance your employees' experience at your organization, or you already work for the community and seek volunteers with state of the art skills to strengthen your nonprofit. Whatever your situation, know that you can make a difference. Chizuba began with this very vision, a vision to facilitate every skill and every passion in the world in meeting a social need. Corporate volunteering has several benefits for both businesses and organizations. In parallel, experienced and enthusiastic volunteers join NGO workers, enabling them to serve the community more effectively. Chizuba offers everyone looking to add purpose and meaning to their lives a chance to connect or volunteer virtually with nonprofit organizations from over 100 countries around the world. Visit www.chizuba.net and explore opportunities to find meaning. Chizuba, your platform to do good. And now, back with our guest. Uh, if you were to pick out any one or two productions and say that, this was the most popular or this was the most influential production that you all have produced so far, what would it be? And why do you think it touched the community so much?
Um, I don't know if I could speak to production specifically, because I haven't been around as long as some other, some of our other volunteers, but I do
Mm-hmm.
know
Mm-hmm.
that
Okay.
there's a handful of people that have been around,
Mm-hmm.
for in the organization, that you know the productions that they did. Like, so for example, a short story. We had a board meeting recently, and one of the people on the board, she we have a kids summer program that's been going for about 40 years, and she
Wow,
was,
that's
talking yeah, no, yeah, no, it's a long time. Just like it's like a summer
yeah.
program. And
No,
she
the
was
very fact
talking.
that it lasted for 40 years says a lot about the program, doesn't it?
Hmm. And
But
we
I
get.
interrupt, sorry.
Oh, no, 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 it's okay. It's an undertaking, and it gets a little bit bigger every year, because we don't turn students away. And if they, especially if it's cost related, we have scholarships, and we figure it out for them, because there's so much you can learn from theater. In this area specifically, everybody's like, oh, sports, you learn determination and teamwork, and it's like, well, you learn the same
What
things
do you
from
know?
theater.
Yeah, yeah, classic argument.
Right. But one of the board members was talking about how special it was for her to be in those productions, and the people that she met and still, keeps up with, and
Mm,
all of the joy it brought her and her family. And that is a
mm,
testament to the people who cared about the community and the kids in the community, and introducing them to art. That's really, I think, probably a bigger legacy than any, you know production.
right. I know you mentioned you have a venue for your performances, you have your own place. But have you also thought about moving around to other venues or other organizations as a part of maybe other cities as well with your productions, like an exchange or some kind of? Do you have something like that in the offing?
We do actually. So outside of the tours to the schools, there's a community. It's about 45 to 50 minutes away. It's a
Hmm.
much smaller community, up, kind of in East Texas, more in the trees. And we take shows up there, because there's not we're the closest thing, you know to them, that
Got it. Right.
so we
Hmm.
do take some shows up there, and we're kind of, like, an anchor organization. If someone's like, hey,
Hmm.
we need to borrow, can we borrow some costumes, can we borrow some props, to make this happen, absolutely, because the more art and the more theater there is, um in general, the better it's going to be for all of
Right.
our communities. So
Right.
we do a little bit of touring, but most of our, actors and performers and artists, they're all, people in our community. They're teachers. They work at our refineries and plants, and you know
And they
uh,
do it part time. Yeah.
yeah. So we don't have a whole lot of touring, and when we do, outside of what we go to the schools, um, every anything else we do is on the weekends. But
Right. I'm sure it comes with a set of challenges. When you're touring, you need to carry the costumes, you need to transport food and people and everything. So it must be coming with its set of challenges. But having said that, I'm sure you are influencing a lot in a larger radius, and yeah, people should be very happy with what you are doing. Now, do you have entire families or generations that have been in this community and have been part of BCP?
yes, and
Yeah.
we frequently have families in shows. So right now, in 2 weeks, we're opening on 9 to 5, the musical that's based off the Dolly Parton movie. And there's a father and son in that show. Last season,
Oh, nice.
we had the Music Man, which was the fact that we had Music Man the same time that it was on Broadway is basically unheard of. That we had the rights to it, but we had an entire mom, dad, brother, sister in the show, and they had both, both the parents had done the summer kids program when they were younger, and it really, because we've been around so long,
Hmm.
there we are a staple in some people's lives. And even if there are people who are not, they don't want to be in front of the stage, they plan their
Some
year around
part.
performance. Yeah.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, some part
there's,
of it.
yep, and people who have been, ticket holders for decades, and they'll never miss a show. And bring their family and
That's
people, visitors from out of town. It's really, and again, that's a testament to all the people
true.
um who worked so hard in the past to
Yeah.
make it a place where people felt welcome.
Right. It's like a community, right? It's like a close knit community, and everybody's part of it, and everybody knows everybody, and it's a nice, cozy feeling.
Hmm.
Well, Julia, if I have to say, somebody wants to help you out, somebody wants to help the organization in terms of volunteering. Do you need more of physical volunteers? Do you need virtual volunteers? What kind of help would you appreciate?
Well, I thought about this question a lot, and we do need physical volunteers, and there's always something um, to learn. I always encourage students who are interested in fashion or filmmaking, or
Hmm.
even people who to learn like carpentry and skills and stuff, to come volunteer,
Right.
because you can get the
Mhm.
groundwork for any of those practical and creative fields, in the theater. So we always need people who with an interest in that. In terms of virtually, that's really hard to say, because so much of what we do is occupies a physical space, and it's temporal. Once the show is over, it's a moment in time, it's gone, so it's we do have a virtual presence, and we
Mhm.
probably should think about how we could do more in that space. So I'm really open to you listening to people's ideas, and if someone's willing to volunteer their talents, then I would love to talk to them. Um, but in the
Sure.
day to day, we always need people in the building.
Right, I understand. Yes. Well, thank you, Julia. It was wonderful talking to you. Like they say, all the world's a stage. Like the bard says, all the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. And
Absolutely.
in an age of digital screens and virtual realities, theater definitely remains a uniquely live and communal experience. It brings people together in that shared moment. And like you mentioned, watching a movie and watching a live performance is completely different.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I wish more people would understand this, and live interaction, it fosters a sense of immediacy and authenticity, which just cannot be replicated in any other form of entertainment. So it's nice
Absolutely.
to see an organization like yours, like Beaumont Community Players, upholding this message of inclusivity, community, and thinking in preserving culture. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you.